It's been nearly 20 years since Devil Summoner Raidou Kuzunoha vs. the Soulless army, and ahead of its 20th anniversary, SEGA and ATLUS have finally treated fans to the long-awaited remaster, Raidou Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army. These days, the term remaster can mean anything from an upscaled port with additional features to a rework of the game and its systems, as we recently saw with The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion Remastered. Fortunately, Raidou Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army falls into the latter category, offering a refreshing experience that hides the original action RPG's age and stays faithful. And it's really great on Nintendo Switch too. Staying true to the original story in a fantastical 1930s Tokyo setting, Raidou Remastered puts players in the uniform of Raidou Kuzunoha 14, or rather the Devil Summoner trainee that inherits the moniker. The game's tutorial does a great job of setting up this premise while teaching players about the game's various RPG elements. Everything from casting familiar magic spells from Shin Megami Tensei and Persona to demon recruitment via the Act of Containment is covered here in about 15 minutes. You get a quick grasp of how to dodge attacks, command demons, effectively use light and heavy attacks, and string together combos with a Musou-like gameplay system. And it's all very fun and familiar without the hindrances of action games from its time. Not only is Raidou Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army easy to pick up and play, but so far, the Nintendo Switch 2 port doesn't skip a beat. Leading up to launch, Sega confirmed that the game runs at 60 FPS at 1080p in both handheld and dock modes, and the experience is quite seamless on Nintendo Switch 2. Although you're not getting a native 4K resolution in docked mode, the output is still in 4K, and the revamped visuals certainly pop in both modes. As I mentioned in my Yakuza 0 Director's Cut review, a lot of the Nintendo Switch performance hindrances are simply gone with the latest releases on Switch 2. There are some occasional dips in the frame rate while roaming the capital, but for the most part, this is a locked 60 FPS experience. There's much more here than just the performance though. Raidou Remastered brings so many different improvements that affect gameplay and overall usability, including an overhauled combat system based on Devil Summoner 2: Raidou Kuzunoha vs. King Abaddon. What's more, the combat system from that game was improved even further for Raidou Remastered, making it feel more responsive. Raidou Remastered feels like a facelift on the original game, thanks to the revamped combat system and many new features. These new features include an all-new UI, full English and Japanese voiceovers, the ability to save anywhere from the menu, 5 difficulty levels, and the option to change from the random encounter system to symbol encounters. In short, you have more control over how you want to play this game, and I'm all for it. The addition of several new demons is also notable, with 50 new additions on top of the more than 70 demons that the original game offered. This brings the demon total to over 120, which is quite respectable for a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei series. Some of these demons are returning from Shin Megami Tensei V: Vengeance, including Hayatoro. You fight with up to 2 demons deployed by your side, but you can switch them out and summon other demons. You'll also be fusing and creating demons at the Gomaden, so that signature aspect of the Shin Megami Tensei series is still intact here as well. I didn't spend too much time in the original release of this game, as I couldn't really get into it on the PlayStation 2 when I tried it out roughly 8 years ago or so. Thankfully, Raidou Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army feels like it adds the vital pieces that were missing from the original game, and it mostly comes down to quality of life and the features I expect in action RPGs today. Moreover, the new features play a big role in how engaged I am with the story at the moment. Raidou Remastered is a really well-paced game with its story, and the detective elements and charming characters certainly make me want to binge it right until the very end. I think the setting of the capital is also really great, as I think 1930s Tokyo or Taisho 20 in this game simply isn't explored enough in video games. If you give Raidou Remastered 15 minutes of your time, you will probably be hooked if you're an RPG fan. That first episode takes you right into your job as an apprentice detective at Narumi Detective Agency, and you start to meet some interesting characters while uncovering mysteries and a grand conspiracy. There are twists and turns to be experienced, and you certainly get the first glimpses of those turns when you meet the young girl at the beginning of episode 1 and she gets kidnapped right in front of you. Right now, if I had to pick on a gripe, it would be the fact that Raidou Remastered is a game keycard title on Nintendo Switch 2. This means that the game's data isn't in the physical game card and must be downloaded over the internet. Besides that, I'd say Raidou Remastered on Nintendo Switch 2 is a great time, but you'll have to wait until my full review to see if that statement still holds up. Raidou Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army is available now for Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam. SEGA and ATLUS provided a Nintendo Switch 2 copy of Raidou Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army for review purposes.